In this video, we will cover how students can retrieve past assignments that have been uploaded into Student Learning and Licensure. To do so, students would use the timeline feature in Student Learning and Licensure. This icon is located on the left-hand side of the screen and falls under the In Progress tab. Timeline provides a place for documenting student assignments. When student work is evaluated, the assignment is automatically added to a student's timeline. Students can also post other work, achievements, and events to the timeline, which will store and display them in chronological order. The timeline is private. However, timeline entries can also be included in e-portfolios for sharing with specific people or with the public if the student so chooses. In summary, everything that a student uploads to a professor in Student Learning and Licensure will automatically be included in the timeline. However, say there is a unique situation where a student wanted to add work to the timeline out of personal preference. In other words, they wanted to add work to the timeline that was not already submitted in previous courses in Student Learning and Licensure. To add entries to the timeline, students would click on the plus icon on the lower right-hand side of the screen and click on Add Work to Timeline. From here, students would want to make sure that the page landed on the Add Content page and on the Add Content tab. Next, students would type a title for the timeline entry into the title text field. They can add a time and date to the entry by clicking the date field and choosing the pop-up calendar. From there, students would click a component type to place in the timeline entry. Component types include text, a singular image, a gallery of images, a YouTube video, or attachments. We will go through a few examples. Let's start with just attachments. We'll click on the attachment icon and we'll see that it populated in the middle of the screen. We'll click on Click here to attach a file. Since we are adding a new entry to the timeline, we will not be selecting the Timeline tab. Instead, students would typically upload an attachment either from the local computer, so using the Upload tab, Google Drive, or Dropbox. In this example, we're going to upload from the computer. After that, students would click Save, and their attachment would be complete. We'll do another example. Say a student wanted to upload a video to the timeline. They would click on Video. They would click on Click here to upload a video, and then they would include the URL for the YouTube video that they would like to include for their timeline. So we will do an example. I'll copy over a URL. And that should populate. Students can click on Save, and the video will be uploaded. Let's do another example. Say students wanted to upload a few images into the timeline. We'll click on Image Gallery. That should have populated. So we're going to click on Click here to select images. We'll click on Browse and select the images that we would like to upload. We need to add a description to each image, and we'll click on Upload Image. Please note that the maximum file size for an image is 30 megabytes. So here we have an example of a few images that have been uploaded. Finally, we'll also do an example with text. Students would click on the text component, and And it would be pretty easy. All students would do is just type out whatever they would like. So this text feature could be really useful if students just wanted to mark an accomplishment that they would like to keep in mind in their timeline. From here, students would then go to the Edit Description tab on the top of the page. And then from there, they would provide a description for their entry. They could also choose to upload a cover image if they so choose. And we need to make sure that the image is the correct size. And then we will click on Save. And we'll see that the timeline entry has populated. If we ever want to edit the timeline entry, we would click on it, make any adjustments necessary, and then click the Save button. So this is a quick demonstration about how students could add components or items to the timeline and how the timeline works for students. If anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to the Manager of Clinical Experiences and Assessment in the Education Department or the Office of Institutional Effectiveness. We will be happy to help you. Thank you so much.